Why secular liberal democracy is reprehensible, immoral, and mired in contradictions.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Alex, and you're currently getting a glimpse of the new podcast space. If you don't know, and if you don't know, it's probably because you're not following me on Twitter, which amazes me, by the way. We seem to have managed to get around 250,000 people to subscribe here on YouTube. Thank you, by the way, but only, not nearly that number of people are willing to jump over to Twitter and follow me there as well. But if you're not, then I don't know what you're doing, because that's where all the action's happening. And if you do follow me there, then you'll know that I'm going to be starting a podcast very soon, and it's very much in the works at the moment, but it's coming along strong. We've recorded an episode, and we've got some more in the works, so I'm excited for it. So that's what you're looking at here. But while I was sat here and while I'm still setting everything up, I wanted to bring to your attention a story coming out of Birmingham in the UK, and I wanted to discuss the nature of religious freedom and how far we should allow religious freedom, which of its own accord is an incredibly important right that I'd never wish to see taken away from anybody, but a discussion of how far we should allow the freedom, that is religious freedom, to infringe upon the education of children. And this is something that happens a lot, and this is something that this story just sums up perfectly. So I want to talk about the story, talk about what's going on, and then I also want to read you an article that I wrote, because the reason I know about the story, the reason it was first brought to my attention, was that my student newspaper has a page where it requests comments on certain stories, and they requested a comment on this story, and I immediately put myself forward and wrote an article. So I wanted to read that article to you in order to get this story a bit more attention and to get my response a bit more attention too. So let's take a look at the story that's so contentious and made me want to write about it in the first place, and then we can talk about what the problem is. Okay, so here's the story. Birmingham school stops LGBT lessons after parents protest. Hundreds of children withdrawn from Parkfield Community School for day. A primary school that taught pupils about homosexuality as part of a program to challenge homophobia has stopped the lessons after hundreds of children were withdrawn by parents in protest. Okay, so what's going on here is a school, in an effort to tackle homophobia, has started teaching kids about homosexual relationships, and because of that, some Muslim parents, who the school is predominantly Muslim, have taken their children out of school in protest at the fact that their children are being taught about homosexual relationships. That's the story. And this article is from earlier in the month, at the beginning of March, but there's been some updates recently. So it says here on Friday, and that was Friday at the time, on Friday about 600 Muslim children aged between 4 and 11 were withdrawn from the school for the day, parents said. The school would not confirm the number. The school made clear that it had never intended to continue the No Outsiders lessons this half-term, and confirmed that the lessons would resume only after a full consultation with every parent. Okay, this is where the troubles really begin. This is something that's actually working. The school has said that they're not going to continue the lessons teaching children about homosexual relationships and LGBT rights, until a consultation with parents has taken place. These are the parents who are taking their children out of school just because they're being taught about homosexual relationships. And now the school is bowing down and saying, actually, you know what, we're not going to continue to teach this until we're sure that you're happy with it. That's what's going on here. Parents have been protesting outside the Saltley School, which is rated as outstanding by Ofsted. At one protest, they held signs that read, "Say no to promoting of homosexuality and LGBT ways of life to our children, stop exploiting children's innocence, and education, not indoctrination." Remember that last one for later. Children from reception age, and that kind of means like kindergarten in the UK, through to year 6 were being taught 5 No Outsiders lessons a year, each one covering topics to meet requirements in the Equality Act. That's an actual act passed by law requiring schools to teach children about certain issues. And they've got a quote here from one of the first mothers to pull her child out of the school in protest. This is what she said. "We're not a bunch of homophobic mothers," she said. "We just feel that some of these lessons are inappropriate. Some of the themes being discussed are very adult and complex, and the children are getting confused. They need to be allowed to be children rather than having to constantly think about equalities and rights." But luckily, ladies and gentlemen of the UK, we live in a secular, liberal democracy, and if there's one place that we can be sure to turn to have the values of our liberal democracy reinstated and reaffirmed, it must be to our elected officials, our MPs. Well, let's take a look at what the MP for Birmingham had to say. Shabana Mahmood, the MP for Birmingham Ladywood, spoke out after parents in her constituency complained that primary schools were teaching their children about same-sex relationships. She said parents did not oppose sex and relationship education, but felt their children were too young for some of the things being taught. I'll remind you that those some things that these parents are objecting to are strictly LGBT issues. It's just the teaching of homosexual relationship that sparked these protests. So yes, they are actually opposing same-sex relationship education, because it's not just that there are some topics that they don't want them to learn about, it's LGBT issues that they don't want them to learn about. Speaking in a Commons debate, Mahmood said, "None of my constituents is seeking particular or differential opt-out at secondary school level. It's all about the age appropriateness of conversations with young children in the context of religious backgrounds." Like I say, I just love how we can rely on turning to our elected officials to reinstate the values of liberal democracy when they need to. I mean, it doesn't get more crystal clear an affirmation like that than a sentence such as, "It is all about the age appropriateness of conversations with young children in the context of religious backgrounds." Direct, to the point, we know exactly the values that are being reaffirmed, and we can rest assured that liberal democracy is being defended in the Commons. This is absolutely absurd. Look at what else she said. Mahmood, who has backed gay rights legislation in the Commons, as if that's supposed to give her any other credibility, as if that's not something that we should expect from our MPs anyway, including voting for same-sex marriage, said that the government should ensure the rights of minorities were protected, but that included the rights of people with orthodox religious views, including some Jews and Christians, as well as some Muslims. What do you mean, the rights of some Jews, some Christians, some Muslims? We need to respect the rights of all of these groups, and to do so consistently. We can't say that we're going to respect some Muslims' rights, but by the very nature of you saying that, it's implying that we should give special treatment to certain groups in regards to how well their rights are protected, for the mere fact that they're a certain type of Muslim, let's say. This is not something that a secular democracy should be promoting.
This is a case where, surprisingly, one must be happy about the dialectical nature of liberal democracy. The school pushes a course which parents do not like, so parents make their children opt out of school and protest on streets regarding school's policy. But no, reasonable liberals like Alex O'Connor are unhappy. Alex believes that notwithstanding criticisms by parents, the representatives of these people should go ahead and press on liberal and secular values that make United Kingdom what it is. Alex is so sure in his belief that he does not even think that a member of parliament who voted for in favor of gay marriage but is uneasy about the curriculum is justifiable, because according to Alex, it is expected from their MPs that they vote for gay rights legislation. For Alex, UK's history as a secular liberal democracy necessarily entails that gay marriage, which is a relatively new topic, is ensured. It is the duty of House of Commons to protect gay rights. Just wonder what all other things, not yet legal or illegal, Alex thinks necessarily entail from liberalism. The purpose of the curriculum is to challenge homophobia. Considering Alex recognizes that at least few people in UK are homophobic, and homophobia is not yet illegal, the course necessarily pushes a political viewpoint and indoctrinates children into it. However, Alex does not mind that political indoctrination because he supports it. In fact, he does not even want there to be a debate about it. He believes whatever dissenters wish, it is job of MPs to push his version of secular liberal values. Alex's vision is not democratic, for it restricts effectiveness of right of parents and constituents to ensure effective change in their lives, to decide what they want their children to inherit. Because while Alex does not mind actual debates taking place, they are merely a formality. In his mind, there cannot be justifiable opposing views in legislatures about issues he professes to believe in. Alex's vision is liberal only in a sense it forces liberalism on the constituents, that it indoctrinates people in his ideology during schooling, and people cannot easily opt out of it. For Alex, UK being liberal does not mean it is open to many ideas, but that it is closed to any other idea except liberalism, and liberalism is allowed to expand infinitely in power. Alex's vision, though, is indeed secular, A secular government can use its power to force its constituents to abandon many religious values, but religious people cannot force the government to do so. The government has guns and army, and Alex is happy to lay claim to it, to fulfill his anti-theistic fantasies. What is different in Alex's views from any rigid authoritarian society? MPs having duty to force indoctrination onto their constituents, using power of government to ensure compliance to one's values, and justifying a particular point of view based on traditional structure of the country. Alex, like other liberals, is a spineless authoritarian. He is unwilling to say that, but the only thing different in his brand of closed-minded liberalism that justifies policies based on tradition is that it is supporter of degeneracy and is morally reprehensible. One must ask why one should submit to it. If one has to submit to an authority, why not choose a moral one? If one has to be indoctrinated, why not get indoctrinated into virtue and morality? What is the use of getting indoctrinated into sexual liberation?